Hello, everyone, and welcome to the podcast. My name is Claire, and this is where we talk about the changes the Trump administration is making to the country and how it can directly affect college students. Together, we will find ways to deal with these changes and see how we can ensure our rights are not compromised. Today, we'll be focusing on immigration reform and the wall Trump wants to build at the border. We have John here, a supporter of these reforms, here to give us his opinion on the matter as well. How you doing, John?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. All right. So, immigration reform was one of the pillars of Trump's campaign. Most notably so far in his plans have been the executive order for the Muslim ban and his plans to go ahead with the wall. The New York Times called the executive order that blocks citizens of 6 mostly Muslim countries from entering the U.S. the most significant hardening of immigration policy in generations. The original executive order was met with mixed reactions. Conservatives were excited to see a tightening of security, while others felt it was a direct hit to Muslims. The new order continues to impose a 90-day ban on travelers from the countries, but it removed Iraq from the list. The New York Times explained how the order exempts permanent residents and current visa holders, drops language offering preferential status to persecuted religious minorities, and reversed an indefinite ban on Syrian refugees. The ban goes along with Trump's America First mentality, one heavily favored by the working class. John, how do you feel about this?
Well, as Trump says about the American First mentality, I am an American, born here in the United States of America, so I do pick America first. I want to be safe. I do not want a terrorist attack to become on me, as we all know they are in other countries, and we should be safe. And Trump is trying to do that and make all Americans safe while we improve this country.
Interesting perspective, John. The Times also reported that Margaret Huang, the executive director of Amnesty International USA, said in a statement that the new order would cause extreme fear and uncertainty for thousands of families by, once again, putting anti-Muslim hatred into policy. Personally, I think it's sad to see a ban like this at a time when prejudice against Muslims are so high. I think something like this encourages Americans to fear those outside our borders. What do you think, John?
I don't believe it makes us more fierce. I think after 9/11, everyone is very scared still if you're an adult. As a kid, recently been on a plane. It's kind of scary going on planes. But, it's about being safe. And everyone doesn't realize that. But, it's, yeah.
All right, John. Thanks for that input. Well, for people who oppose the ban, you can sign the petition on MoveOn.org's website, which currently has over 370,000 signatures. Or, if you support it like John does, feel free to write to your senator and let the government know. Well, now that we've addressed the Muslim side of Trump's immigration views, let's discuss his views on Mexico and the wall he is instating. The wall, which would be between our border and Mexico's, is something Trump was adamant about since the start of his campaign, and one most of his supporters are also excited about. BBC pointed out that the wall was a cornerstone of his campaign, and that it is estimated to cost as much as $21.6 billion, more than the official price tag of $12 billion. John, why do you think this wall is necessary for immigration reform?
Well, the wall is very necessary because of all the problems that are coming from Mexico and the Dominican Republic and all the southern countries. There is a serious drug problem there. I mean, I was just recently in Mexico, and once you get out of your resort, everyone selling you cocaine. Taxi drivers will be like, hey, you want to ride? And then you say no, and then they say, you want some blow? And no, I don't want any illegal drugs because I don't want to get arrested. There's a serious problem over there, and you can find basically any drug you want in any corner of Mexico. And there's a serious trafficking problem going on. In underwater scuba diving, I've heard things about that. So yeah, the wall.
I'm sorry. What do you mean about underwater scuba diving?
That drug trafficking was going through underwater.
Oh, so I'm really sure the wall is really going to help with the underwater drug trafficking.
It's just the idea that we got to tighten the border.
Right.
The wall is a symbol relating to tightening the border. There's going to be a wall there. Yeah, it's going to be legendary. I don't know. Americans should be excited about it. It's in our lifetime that we're going to see something as crazy as this, and as we should, and it'll bring Americans closer together, and it'll make this country safer, which in this time of matter is very necessary.
Well, thanks for the personal anecdote there, John. Really, really,
That's why I'm here,
interesting.
right?
That was interesting. Anyway, so as we were just saying, the wall does go along with the America First mindset, as the previous executive order we talked about does. Economy.org explained, because immigrants often seem more willing to accept lower wages than Americans, Trump and his supporters feel they're deliberately undermining Americans' right to a decent wage, what's known as suppressing wage levels. The wall's cost could lead to inflation on many products we get from Mexico, such as tomatoes, fridges, tequila, and avocados. The price increase would definitely negatively impact college students who eat a lot of guac and drink a lot of tequila. Trump's relations with Mexico.
Hey, excuse me, Claire. Can I ask you a question?
Yes, John.
Can you live your life without without guacamole?
But should I have to?
I'm just asking, can you?
Trump's relations.
Will you be able to live without guacamole and tacos?
The whole point is just it's going
Build
to
the wall.
Trump's relations with Mexico are not great after he said Mexicans are rapists and bad people that come into our Trump's relations with Mexico are not great after he said Mexicans are rapists and bad people that come into our country and wreak havoc. Will this wall lead to a real problem with our neighboring country? John, how do you think this wall will affect our relations with Mexico?
Well, the fact of the matter is, there is Mexicans that are rapists. There is Americans that are rapists, sure. But if you do the statistics, there's definitely more Mexicans that are coming in this country that are rapists than any other country.
That's
It's
really
just a
not true.
statistic.
That's not true. That's one you can easily look up and realize is false.
It is illegal immigration, yes.
The wall might not directly affect students at Monmouth, but at more diverse schools that provide education to illegal citizens or to students with family in Mexico, this could cause issues. Well, thanks everyone for listening to John and I talk about this change in our government. Hearing about executive orders, we might not think they will ever affect us directly, but we have to take action to make sure our voices are heard, no matter what your opinion might be. Thank you. And John, do you have any last words?
I'm sensing a bias here, but build the wall.
Thank you and good night.